It takes a different type of defender to be bullying attackers like this at such a young age. This is Abdukodir Khusanov.
Обратно, грудью скидка, удар! Абдукадир Кхусанов, срочно помощь нужна сейчас.
Manchester City's absolute psychopath at centre-back.
But I think he's a special player. He's really, really special player. He's so reliable.
And honestly, watching him defend is just entertaining. Some defenders clear the ball and make a tackle here and there. Khusanov defends like somebody insulted his entire family before kickoff. He's unbelievably quick. Back during the 2025 winter transfer window, there were clubs all over Europe looking at the Uzbek international. Manchester United wanted him. Tottenham were heavily linked too. But in the end, Manchester City got the deal done first. And now, he's already becoming one of the most loved players at the club. Because Uzbekistan genuinely has everything fans adore in a defender. He's rapid, aggressive, physical, fearless, and he plays every game with ridiculous intensity. Which, compared to Kyle Walker during his final season at City, feels like night and day. During the Carabao Cup final, he was chasing down players like Kai Havertz like they owed him money. And against Real Madrid, even while the rest of City's defence looked shaky, the Uzbek international was still sprinting after Vinicius Jr., trying to put out fires everywhere. At one point, you genuinely started thinking, if Khusanov wasn't playing tonight, City might lose by about 9. That's the level he's already reached. Then there was the Liverpool game. Mohamed Salah barely had any freedom because Khusanov was glued to him for most of the match. Although, to be fair, locking down this current version of Salah isn't exactly the same. But the scary thing about Khusanov is that he's not just some athletic defender who relies on pace and aggression. He's intelligent too. His football IQ is ridiculously high for somebody this young. The way he reads danger, covers space, and anticipates attacks already looks elite. And on top of that, he's improving more and more on the ball every single month. Yet despite how good he's been, you barely hear the media talking about him. Sky Sports hardly mention him. TalkSport barely discuss him. Pundits almost never talk about how much he's changed City defensively. But the second he struggled on his debut, suddenly everybody had an opinion. And honestly, it was rough. Some people even questioned why Guardiola started him in the first place. You could tell immediately that the pressure was getting to him. The tension was written all over his face. And then the game started. Within minutes, everything that could go wrong basically did go wrong. His first match in a City shirt was an absolute disaster. He made a huge mistake that led to a goal against Chelsea, picked up a yellow card almost immediately after, nearly got himself sent off, and then got substituted early. Gary Neville even admitted he felt bad watching him.
Khusanov, for the first few minutes, it was, I said I really felt for him because he's a young defender.
Well, what I thought is not the best start, right? He's so young, come for many years, it's not the best start, of course.
Because after about 3 or 4 minutes, you were genuinely sitting there asking yourself, how long can this guy survive out there? It was brutal. The mistake for the goal completely rattled him. And unfortunately, things didn't immediately improve after that either. He struggled badly and eventually found himself completely out of the squad. A lot of young defenders would have completely collapsed mentally after a start like that. But Khusanov didn't. He stayed quiet, kept working, spent more time learning English so he could communicate better with teammates, and slowly improved behind the scenes. And now, he looks like a completely different player. Manchester City already have ridiculous depth at centre-back too. You've got Ruben Dias, Mark Guehi, Josko Gvardiol, and technically John Stones as well, so Khusanov was never guaranteed a starting spot. But that genuinely doesn't seem to bother him. Whether Guardiola uses him at centre-back or throws him out at right-back, he just works his arse off every single game. Earlier in the season against Manchester United, he started at right-back and was absolutely everywhere. Tackles, interceptions, clearances, recoveries. The guy was moving like he drank 6 Red Bulls before kickoff. By the end of the game, he had more defensive actions than anyone else on the pitch, and you could feel his presence constantly. That's what makes him so valuable in modern football. Today's Premier League is ridiculously quick and physical. Every set piece basically turns into WrestleMania inside the penalty area, and every transition feels dangerous. Khusanov is built perfectly for that kind of football. but what he gives City is security. His recovery pace allows City to survive counter-attacks, his strength helps them dominate physical duels, and his aggression completely disrupts attacks before they can properly develop. Honestly, it's difficult not to be impressed watching him develop this quickly. Just look at his recovery tackle on Salah against Liverpool, where he basically saved a guaranteed goal. In that same match, he won every duel, completed almost all of his passes with 93% accuracy, and only committed one foul. That is ridiculous for somebody this young who plays with this much aggression. And honestly, he feels like the type of player who could eventually wear the captain's armband at Manchester City one day. That's why the fans already love him so much. You just want players like this to stay forever. There's something about the way he carries himself, the attitude, the work rate, the aggression. He genuinely looks like somebody who would die for the badge. Every defender makes mistakes, that's normal. But what separates elite defenders from average ones is how quickly they recover mentally afterwards. And Khusanov recovers instantly. If he gets caught out of position, he fixes it immediately. If he loses a duel, he chases the player down. If something goes wrong, he reacts faster than everybody else around him. That's the difference between him and defenders like Harry Maguire. That ability to recover mentally and physically within seconds is what makes him special. And when you look at his overall game, it becomes very obvious why Manchester City fans rate him so highly already. Off the ball, there honestly aren't many defenders in the Premier League better than him right now. His reading of the game is excellent, his recovery speed is elite, and he wins an absurd amount of duels. But what makes him even scarier is that he's also very composed on the ball. He's calm, he's confident, and while he's obviously not João Cancelo technically, he almost never wastes possession. That's why his recent achievements feel so important. Becoming the first Uzbek player in Premier League history to win Player of the Month wasn't just a huge moment for him, it was massive for his entire country. And honestly, he fully deserved it. Just look at his performances against Arsenal, West Ham and Newcastle. He played the full 90 minutes in all 3 games, barely misplaced passes, dominated tackles, and looked absurdly composed throughout. That's the sort of consistency you normally expect from defenders in their prime, not somebody this early into their career. And what makes it even crazier is how quickly all of this happened. At the beginning of 2022, this guy was still playing youth football back in Uzbekistan. He stayed there until he turned 18, but from that point onward, his career exploded unbelievably fast. In March 2022, he joined Belarusian side energetic BGU. Very quickly, people started realizing this kid was special. And after just 18 months in Belarus, he earned a move to League One with Lens. That's where he truly established himself. Think about this. He only missed 2 League One matches, and those only happened because he got suspended after a red card. That's it. After just 31 matches in France, Manchester City looked at him and basically said, yeah, we're taking him. Then they immediately threw him into the Premier League. And honestly, it was a nightmare start. It made sense. He had barely trained with the squad. He could barely speak English. And suddenly, he was being thrown into one of the most intense leagues in world football against elite players. That match basically showed both sides of Khusanov. On one side, you saw a raw young defender who looked overwhelmed by the occasion. The 2 defining traits of his game have always been simple: speed and aggression. He absolutely hounds attackers constantly. He sticks to forwards so tightly that it probably feels illegal. The second a loose ball appears somewhere near him, he's throwing himself at it immediately, even if it ends up near the corner flag. And where he really shines is covering wide channels. Because Manchester City dominate possession so heavily, the only real danger they usually face comes during counter-attacks. That's why Khusanov's pace is so important. And what's crazy is that he's not only becoming a superstar at club level. Back home in Uzbekistan, he's genuinely a national icon. What he's doing at Manchester City is impressive enough already, but in Uzbekistan, people talk about him like he's Cristiano Ronaldo. And according to The Athletic, that's genuinely how big he is over there. Which sounds insane for a centre-back, but it shows how important he's become. He isn't just their best defender, he's their biggest football star, full stop. And a huge reason for that is his journey, Players from Uzbekistan rarely move abroad and succeed at the very highest level, especially not this quickly. But Khusanov went from Belarus to France to Manchester City in just a few years. Nobody from his country had ever really done something like that before. And now, heading toward the World Cup, he's carrying the expectations of an entire nation. So yeah, he's already a monster for Manchester City. He's the face of football in his country, their biggest hope, their biggest superstar. And going into their first ever World Cup, he's the player the entire nation is depending on. Now, he's not the only player shining for Manchester City this season. So, if you want to know why everyone hates Erling Haaland, you need to watch this video right here.